What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So I have another one by Jason Whitlock. And yes, Adam Silver compromised by the NBA gambling scandal. And we're going to listen to Jason Whitlock along with Stephen Kim and TJ Moe. So let's get into this.
All of sports, not just the NBA, is sitting on a massive house of cards. And I look at someone like Adam Silver, and I look at all of these commissioners, and I wonder, like, can legalized gambling be restrained in any fashion? Have they gone too far? Can the toothpaste be put back in the bottle? I think we have no choice but to do that. The toothpaste has to go back in the bottle. Our lawmakers are going to have to stand up here. And we can't allow people like Stephen A. Smith and others who, anytime we make a move towards instilling morality back in society through our lawmakers, we can't allow Stephen A. Smith and that crowd to racialize everything, to politicize everything. Oh, how dare Donald Trump and Cash Patel stand up here and punish athletes that are corrupting an endeavor as important as sports. And you, oh, it's just entertainment. No, sports played a central role in instilling Christian values. And in the late 1800s, when the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association, organized sports, when Dr. James Naismith created basketball, it was intended to disciple young men in Christian values. And we don't think there's any importance to protecting that. How else are we going to disciple young men in masculinity, a muscular Christianity? You want to know why these guys, these young men are so feminized now? And they're all comfortable wearing their hair in ponytails? This is part of the reason it's hard for me to watch the NBA. Half the players, that's an exaggeration, but 20% of them look like they just left the beauty shop with their mama. We're not instilling a muscular Christianity anymore through sports. We're instilling feminism. We're instilling the love of money and greed. We're promoting rap music and degeneracy. This is what sports are instilling now. The promotion of greed, and gambling goes right along with that. And I know that I occasionally gamble, and I know I used to gamble a lot. And so I'm not distancing myself from the problem.
Yeah, yeah, with sports, like you said, Dr. James Naismith, the intent of what, basketball was for. And of course, yeah, the NBA has just not been as watchable since Jordan, because back in the Jordan days, it was 20 million viewers. Um, and Michael Jordan played all as much of the 82 games as possible. There was none of this load management crap going on, like Kawhi Leonard does. And sometimes, yeah, it's pretty much even taken away from the fans. Like if I'm in the States, if I go to a Laker game and I want to see maybe OKC, I want to maybe see some of the players and they don't play, it sucks. And then, of course, yeah, with the gambling that goes along with it, yeah, it's caused a conundrum, a problem. So, yeah, so let's see.
I'm just acknowledging that there is a problem and there is a price our society pays for our sports world being this corrupt and sitting on a house of cards. Can Adam Silver survive this? And I think that he can't. And look, I know he's not solely to blame, but I think he's the worst commissioner in sports we've ever had, and that this is happening on his watch in a league that to me has completely went away from disciplining the players. And this all started with, and I hate to go here, but it's just factual, with Donald Sterling. They turned the league over to the players. The media cooperated in turning the league over to the players and thinking that, well, you gotta really be harsh with Donald Sterling and blah blah blah. What the man said in his private life to me, and I said it in real time. This isn't me, switching my opinion. I was like, hey man, this guy's talking to his side chick. If that becomes the standard, all these NBA players, everybody. But I don't think Adam Silver, if they're serious about cleaning up the NBA, I don't think he can survive. Steve.
Well, Adam Aluminum is the worst commissioner of my lifetime. And I'm not saying David Stern was perfect, but he has to be rolling over in his grave. But again, maybe his job, maybe he's actually executing it. His job is to placate and enable the athletes. Yesterday I put up a joke on Twitter and I said, you know what? Here I thought the biggest scam in the NBA was load management. And someone responded to me saying, Steve, maybe that's part of the whole scam here. Maybe all of this is linked together. Again, I'm not so sure with the way the collective bargaining is and the money that they're making overseas. You could reincarnate David Stern. You may never regain control of this league.
I think the NBA is just too far gone. And of course, on my other channel, I broadcast the NBA games. I watch it because I have a stream, but I don't appear in it, especially for the NBA because I just have so much going on. But I do it for the watch hours of YouTube. But yeah, I think we are far gone. And this ain't going to be surprising at all when there's more issues of, this gambling issue. So Rozier and Chauncey Billups is one of them, but I bet you there's more. And then there's more officials besides Donahue, which I think Steve's going to bring up. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more coming up.
I mean, I haven't watched the league in at least 10 to 15 years. Okay, but I'll give him credit. It's the most compelling it's been in a long time based on this story. And I really think anyone that continues to watch it, you know what you're watching now. It's sports and entertainment. Okay, it's not necessarily always athletic competition. So understand what you're getting into and understand what that man's role really is.
Jason, I think the NBA has a real problem, and all of the leagues have an unbelievable problem right now. Gambling, I think every single league is less interesting than it's ever been. I don't think there's a single league more interesting than it was 10 years ago. And gambling has saved them. Gambling is actually what's kept people tuned in. But fantasy football and gambling, that's what saved the NFL. The NFL is 10% of the product that it was back in the day. It's easier. People don't hit each other anymore. There's the penalties are a disaster. Nobody would tell you with a straight face this is a better product than it was. But gambling has saved them. So I think the NBA, even if they get rid of Silver, they're going to end up with the next guy saying, yes, we have to keep gambling. We just can't do it ourselves. But gambling's amazing. There's nothing wrong with gambling. It's not a sin. Don't worry about it. Because that's the only thing that's going to save their viewership. Now, I know they've rigged the ratings and they've changed it several times to make it look like they're getting more viewers than they ever have. I think it's less popular and less interesting than it's ever been. And gambling has saved them. And so they can't turn their back on it.
I got to agree with TJ because the amount of, like even on my other channel, a lot of the guys in America don't have access to the basketball here unless, they use a VPN or something like the KBL or, the PBA. Or sometimes they want to hear someone that speaks English, which is me. They'll come to my channel. But do they really care about the game? Hell no. Even the NBA, do they really care about the game? No, because I have streamers coming in. Hey, I took the over 189 and a half, and I'm about to maybe rack up $500. Sometimes they tell me how much they bet. Sometimes I'm like, yo, if you want to, you can tell me. But yeah, a lot of this is just straight up betting, man. A lot of people that come to my sports channel, they're here because they're like, okay, what do you got? Because supposedly sometimes I might have some inside information, like for the KBL, because why? I go to the KBL games. I kind of know some of the players, but I'm still would get the picks incorrect because you just don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, a lot of this like is gambling. Even like, yeah, since I'm overseas, even if I do follow overseas basketball, even in the Philippines, Korea, there's a lot of gamblers for these sports. And of course, my audience is the US, and they just says, yeah, I took this, I took that. So yeah.
That's an interesting point. Steve, if you got a point off that, I'll let you make it. But I want to tweak the conversation a little bit towards player empowerment. You got something you want to say off, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I think TJ is right on the spot. If you look at 90% of the games, right? And I want to go backwards a little bit. No one should be stunned by this, guys, because historically there have been other gambling scandals. Forget Tim Donaghy. We had a college basketball scandal, I believe, in the 50s surrounding Madison Square Garden, right? Then there was Boston.
Yeah, that one was CCNY. Yeah, uh, for about a couple years, they were pretty good, and they were in the NC2A and the NIT. So yeah, I remember that documentary.
College. They actually did a 30 for 30 on that, I believe, in the late 70s, early 80s. Tulane was implicated
Yeah.
in the 80s. And then you had Arizona State, and Netflix did a documentary centering around Headache Smith, who was the ringleader of that.
Stephen
So
Smith.
this is even before FanDuel and all these online apps, and even before, and this is where it's really mushroomed, the individual player props, right? So that makes it even more difficult to police because a guy can flat out say, like a Terry Rozier, I stubbed my toe, I'm out. And everyone that had the under and all his numbers, guess what? It's easy. You don't even have to worry about the rest of the game. So what's happening now is just an easier, bigger conduit to what's already been taking place for at least 75 years.
Yeah, before we exit out, yeah, the prize picks, oh my goodness. Yeah, sometimes like in the NBA, like if LeBron was like 38 and a half points or 30 or 47 and a half with rebounds, points, and assists, yeah, and he stumbles, oh, I'm done. And yeah, we could win on that under. So unless you know that inside information about that. So yeah, we got all kinds of things. But right now, yeah, to tell you the truth, gambling kind of keeps everything going because back in the days, like when I watched, MJ and Magic and Bird, I never thought about gambling. But in the later years, now I'm like thinking about the point spread. Even if I'm not, sometimes I don't, majority of times I don't bet. I still like put up the lines on my other stream. I'm like, yep, take this team, and then I'll even give my pick three. So yeah, I do get gambling has a huge effect on a lot of these NBA and then some. So yeah, and that's where most of the I get streamers that like talk about how much they put. Oh, is this gonna help? Should I go with this? I'm like, don't take my word as gospel. Yeah. So, and shout out to Jason Whitlock for doing this video. And if any of you enjoyed this content, please give me the HKO special. Help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you are, stay safe. And I'll see you in my next video.